I'm Matt Bouchard here in New York City for NAREIT's REIT Week 2018 Investor Conference. Joining me today is Jay Sugarman, Chairman and CEO of Safety, Income, and Growth. Jay, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Now, SAFE went public a year ago. Can you talk about the strategy behind this new company?
Yeah, Safety, Income, and Growth is, we like to call it the ground lease company. It's really the only company focused on trying to radically reinvent both the ground lease concept, but also really the way people think about owning real estate. And if I could break it down simply, every property is really two things. It's a building and it's the land underneath the building. And the people who own the building have a skill set that's buying, managing, marketing, leasing, designing, constructing, and selling. And the other part of the business is, in effect, a high quality bond for a very long time. There's really no other part of the investment world where the same investor wants to own both. This high octane, high return skill set that allows them to take a building and extract value or add value, and a 99-year bond at a low return. So we want to help, again, our customers see that they can earn a lot more on a safer basis by splitting that apart and having us be the most efficient owner of that long-term bond, and them being the most efficient owner of the building component, the leasing, managing, marketing component. And what that does is, typically it allows them to earn significantly higher cash-on-cash returns and IRRs that are 500, 600, 700 basis points better than their peers. We think that solution makes so much sense that there's a large part of the market, if they had somebody like us who could work with them to structure a very modern, very lender-friendly, very cap rate-friendly ground lease, are going to find this to be the best solution for their needs.
Now, looking at the strategy of the company, what geographic markets and types of tenants are you attracting?
Yeah, so we have historically focused on top 25 markets at iStar for our businesses, and when we thought about the ground lease business, those are the same markets we think we have a real competitive advantage in. So you'll see us stay in those top 25 markets, but we've done deals in multifamily, office, industrial, hospitality. So again, it's this idea of splitting the building apart from the land. Well, that works in almost every type of real estate. So we're not constrained by property type. We just like to stay in the markets we have a long-term knowledge base in.
And lastly, how much growth potential do you see in the ground lease space from a REIT standpoint? And do you see this similar to what happened with the net lease sector?
Yeah, I think we've seen twice in our careers this opportunity to really take something that everybody looks at this way and turn it. And that's what you're going to see us do, I think, in the ground lease space. Is we're really helping people understand that it's not just one thing, it's two things that they own. And if you can get the most efficient buyer for each of those pieces, the sum of those parts is more than the whole. It happened for us in the net lease business in the early 2000s. We saw that it wasn't just real estate, it was real estate, corporate credit, and a capital markets component. And when you took each piece apart and got it priced by the most efficient owner of that piece, when you add 1 + 1 + 1 up, you got 4. We think the ground lease business is that same opportunity to take a building and the land and make 1 + 1 = way more than 2. So it's an exciting business. It's one we think has significant growth prospects, unlike almost anything else we see out there. And right now, we're the only one doing it.
And if this is such a good opportunity, why has no company tried this before?
It's interesting, the ground lease business started really because people owned land and didn't want to sell it. It was a very one-sided conversation. It's like, if you want to build on my land, here are the terms. Nobody has really taken a step back and said, wait a second, the whole business is premised on 1 + 1 = more than 2. We need a modern, lender-friendly, cap rate-friendly provider of ground leases who thinks about how to help us make more money as the owner of the building. Well, there's really never been anybody doing that. The owners of land have always said, my land, my rules. We're coming in and saying, let's be that party that thinks about the long-term relationship that creates value for both parties and really creates this most efficient capital structure. So we've actually trademarked something called the safe ground lease. We've taken out all the provisions that destroy value, and we've made it so it really creates value, it adds value. And that's really important because I think a lot of people think of ground leases in the old-fashioned way as destroyers of value. They don't work, they're all one-sided. And we're really reinventing the entire industry into this new modern ground lease idea that we think has enormous applicability across the real estate world.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it.
For more from NAREIT's REIT Week, be sure to visit NAREIT's website, REIT.com.